Banning the DSM-5, Three Alternative Approaches to Categorical Psychiatric Disorders by Richard Woods at London South Bank University, PhD student. I'm currently on an extended gap year. So this is just a short video detailing three alternative approaches to how we conceptualize and support characteristics that are described by the various disorders described in the DSM-5, which is the American Psychiatric Diagnostic Manual. And the reason for this is if anyone really is familiar with my work and my own personal views on the topic, I really dislike the categorical approach to the topic. And just reflecting on some reading that I came across recently as well. So, um, yeah, cats are amazing creatures. So, you might see this image. It's literally of a cat laying down in a clear plastic tub, and it's basically just conform. Its body has changed shape to kind of fit in and fill out the entire kind of lower 2/3 of this clear plastic box. Um, and this is one of the amazing features that like cats do. So they kind of fit really well into kind of boxes, and people familiar with cats know that they like sitting in boxes. um, but people generally do not fit well into boxes. We don't fit well into made-up, arbitrary constructed boxes, which are psychiatric categories described for the DSM-5. And the DSM-5 itself acknowledges this if people actually read it. So, because of this, people have been proposing alternatives to this kind of like categorical pigeonholing approach to mapping and supporting characteristics described within the kind of the over 200 odd psychiatric diagnoses within the actual DSM-5. And I have issues with calling them diagnoses. To me, I'd say they're attributions because it's way more subjective than some people make out to be. So, the kind of most radical approach is just completely abandoning kind of dimensional, categorical, based kind of identification-based systems. So instead of saying that you're autistic or ADHD or you have a generalized anxiety disorder or OCD, etc., you just take individual specific features and you group people based on them. So if you have anxiety, you have depression or certain specific aspects of depression like the rapid mood changes and lack of enjoyment from activities that you enjoy and stuff, blah, 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 blah. You group together and kind of treated those specific feature-specific problems. And this actually makes sense because most kind of treatment and support strategies are symptoms or kind of feature specific, and the DSM-5 actually acknowledges this. So this is the screenshot here is from Ghizzoni et al. 2025, and it's literally a systematic review of school-based program of interventions targeting like anxiety and depression. And I found that overall that these transdiagnostic based approaches seem to work. The abstract kind of gives some brief arguments for why transdiagnostic approach is beneficial, particularly in those kind of age groups. But it's just it's just a complete radical kind of opposite way of going about it. Instead of kind of going like vertically, you're kind of going horizontally, or you kind of it's a different way of lumping and splitting people together if you go kind of transdiagnostic cross-categorical approach. A kind of a more middle ground from the current kind of categorical approach to transdiagnostic is you have a bit of both. So you have you have kind of categorical aspects, but you also bolt on transdiagnostic aspects. So this is what Morris et al. Have kind of suggested. They have argued for a kind of a transdiagnostic as part of the transdiagnostic revolution. Is that you kind of separate neurodevelopmental categories from like autism and ADHD, etc., from mental illness categories, and you'll have kind of common features you have features that are common across multiple categories, kind of put on there as kind of spectrums or kind of continua. So you kind of using both kind of approaches to it. So yeah, I mean they put forward some good arguments in this piece for their approach. Um, the other way is that you still have a categorical approach, but you kind of just split the neurodiversity based stuff from the mental or health stuff categories, which is what was proposed by Chandler Leveland in 2018, and it was supported by about a dozen other people, I think, if not more, um, in their letter article. But they go a bit further to argue that uh, categories that are described within a neurodiversity identification manual include areas of strength and weakness and stuff, as well as just supposed kind of deficits. I'm putting deficit quotation marks there. Um, so yeah, I mean, I will put links to description. I'll put link in a video description to all these articles, like to where I got the image from for the cat in the box. More importantly, I will put a link to the paper on the rheology of cats, which shows how that tested if cats act like a fluid in a box, um, um, which is the entire reason for that image of a cat conforming to a box. But yeah. Yeah, so just some reflective questions to end on. So, in the is the current categorical approach to psychiatric categories used in the DSM like fit for purpose? Um, you can argue, are they suitable for what we currently need from them? Um, do current approaches does the current approach in the DSM-5 to kind of map well to conceptualizing and kind of supporting kind of the characteristics described within kind of the various psychiatric categories, do they align with your ideals and values? What are the potential strengths and weaknesses of the three example alternative approaches I've suggested? And what is your preferred approach to conceptualizing and supporting characteristics described within the kind of the various psychiatric categories? So yeah. On the final note, yeah, you can tell I've had some fun with this video. So yeah, I hope both people have enjoyed it, and I hope it's informative and stimulating for debate. So yeah, my one stemming out has been many, and one's face date's long.